You ever have one of those moments where you realize your entire life is about to get flipped upside down? And it all starts with something so simple, you almost laugh at how stupid you were to think it'd be just another day? Yeah, that was me, right there on the edge of the lake, stacking stones for a fire pit, Bruno thumping his tail in the dirt, sun leaking through the pine needles, making the water glow like a pool of melted gold. I could already taste marshmallows and hear the low sizzle of firewood. Then I heard it. That voice. High, sharp, and loaded with more attitude than a cornered possum. Excuse me, what do you think you're doing? That's when I knew my piece was officially over. I turned, half hoping it was just some hiker or maybe a lost delivery guy, but nope. There she stood, Karen Reynolds, HOA president, neighborhood royalty, queen of the clipboard. Her hair set like concrete, blue suit crisp even though the sun was down, and that clipboard gripped so tight it could snap. I remember thinking, here we go. I'm building a fire pit. I told her, keeping it calm, brushing dirt off my jeans, but her eyes narrowed so hard I thought she'd set me on fire. Herself. A fire pit by the lake? You can't do that. It violates HOA's safety code. I said, I'm not in the HOA. You'd think I'd just told her the sky was green. Everyone around the lake is. She snapped, waving her clipboard like a sword. Not this land, I said. Bought before the HOA was formed. It's private. She stormed off muttering, scribbling something dramatic. Probably plotting my execution by barbecue fork. I honestly thought that'd be the end of it, just another neighborly dust-up. But I was wrong. Minutes later, as I was striking the first match, I heard gravel crunching and looked up to see blue and red lights bouncing off the water. Karen had called the cops. 6 months earlier I'd left the city for this lakeside lot. Dreaming of quiet weekends, grilling with friends, teaching Bruno to swim. Never realized I was stepping onto a battlefield. On my second day, Karen had shown up with that same pasted-on smile and a welcome pamphlet thick enough to stop a bullet. She rattled off rules about fence height, mailbox color, even the right shade of green for lawns. I tried to explain, politely, that I was outside HOA territory. She just laughed, like I'd said I didn't believe in gravity. From then on, she was always there. Your mailbox is too rustic. Your dog barks too much. Poor Bruno only barked when she was around, and honestly, I started to wish I could too. Still, I tried to play nice, helped her husband Tom fix their fence, waved when I saw her, kept my head down. Didn't matter. Karen saw every inch of this place as her kingdom, and now I was a threat. So when that sheriff's cruiser rolled up, Karen was waiting, arms folded, practically glowing with victory. There he is. Officer. Violating HOA fire safety. Endangering community property. The deputy, young, clean-cut, probably on a first-name basis with Karen by now, looked from her to me, back to the pit. Sir, mind telling me what's going on? Before I could talk, Karen was off again. He's refusing to follow the rules. This is all HOA land. I could feel the heat climbing my neck. Officer, I have the deed inside. This land's private, not under HOA. Karen just scoffed. Everyone says that until they get fined. The deputy finally turned to her. Ma'am, is your name on the deed? She sputtered. Well, no. Then maybe we should check. Back in the house, grabbing the folder, I felt my hands shake. Not from guilt, but from pure exhaustion. She just wouldn't stop. The deputy read the deed, whistled, and told Karen flat out. This property's not under HOA jurisdiction. He's clear. Karen went pale. For the first time, she didn't have a comeback. You'd think that would be the win, right? Me and Bruno, campfire crackling, Karen finally shut down. But the night didn't want to give me peace. I saw movement in the shadows by the fire. Thought it was just my nerves, but Bruno was uneasy too. And then I found it. A pink iPhone, cracked screen, Karen R. etched on the back. Dropped right by the bushes. Of course, I left it on my porch rail, didn't want any drama. But just before bed, I caught a strange red glow out by the lake. The fire pit was burning again, hotter, higher, and reeking of lighter fluid. I ran out, hosed it down, my hands shaking. And that's when I saw the footprints, bare, small, not mine, leading off into the trees. Next morning, Karen's banging at my door. I know what you did. The fire department got an anonymous call about flames by the lake. Karen, I said, I put the fire out. Someone else must have. She cut me off, face pinched. Don't lie. This community has standards. I told her about the footprints. She looked rattled. My camera stopped recording after 9, she said, real quiet. How convenient, I replied. She stormed off, Bruno barking at her. Retreating back. That's when I found the burnt sign. Private property, keep out. But not my handwriting, not my wood, just blackened and half-buried. A warning. Maybe for me. Maybe for Karen. Maybe for both of us. The sheriff was back by midday. Older guy this time. Collins, sharp eyes, tired jaw. Got another call about disturbances last night. Flames by the lake. That you? Nope. I told him. Somebody keeps relighting my fire pit. Bare footprints. Found a sign burned. He checked the scene, took the sign for prints, told me to keep watch. Across the yard, I caught Karen. Peeking from her curtains, looked more spooked than angry. That afternoon, Tom came by, hands deep in his pockets. Look, I'm sorry about all this, he said, voice low. Karen, she's scared. Said she saw someone near the lake last night, carrying a red light. Carrying what? I asked. Didn't say, just that it glowed. He shrugged, helpless. If you see anything else weird, lock your doors. That night, the lake looked different, flat, shiny. All that peace was gone. Bruno stiffened, staring at the opposite shore. And there, clear as a flare, was a figure standing where the HOA land met mine, holding a red glow. Didn't move, didn't wave, just watched. Bruno whined, and when I blinked, the light went out. Couldn't sleep after that. Kept hearing things. Around 3, I saw a tall figure in a hooded jacket, digging at the fire pit, slipping something into his pocket, then gone into the trees. In the morning, I dug around and found a small metal tag. Property of HOA Maintenance 2021. That made no sense. Tom never came this far, and HOA wasn't supposed to cross my line. Collins called with an update. No prints on the burnt sign, but traces of lighter fluid and metal dust, like someone staged it. He added, Karen called, said she saw a trespasser with a red light behind her house. Patrol checked, nothing found. So, Karen wasn't faking it. Something, or someone, was haunting both our properties. I went over to talk to Karen. She looked like she hadn't slept in a week. I handed her the tag. She frowned. Said it was from their maintenance shed, one key missing. You think someone from the HOA's messing around? I asked. She didn't answer, just looked scared. Bruno barked. There was a figure at my fire pit again, red glow blazing, just staring. I'd had enough. I marched down, flashlight in one hand, voice loud as I could make it. You're trespassing, step away from the fire pit. The red glow pulsed, then the figure bolted for the woods. I chased, branches whipping my face, Bruno barking like mad. But in the darkness, the guy vanished. I heard a splash in the lake, ran to the edge, ripples spreading out, then nothing. Back on the porch, Karen's clutching her clipboard. What happened? He ran into the woods, then into the lake, I think. You mean he drowned? I don't know. I'm calling the sheriff. Deputies showed up, combed the shore, found another old tag, this one from 2018, before the HOA even existed. Collins said there were old access paths by the lake. Maybe from the first HOA. We'll check it out tomorrow. Next morning, I'm up early, Bruno tense, staring at the water. I spot something shiny under the surface, a rusted lockbox. Karen appears, eyes wide. That belonged to the old HOA president, she says. My father. She tells me he disappeared years ago. Official story is he drowned, but the lake was always full of secrets. We open the box. Inside are waterlogged papers, a moldy ledger, a pouch with 3 rings, each engraved HR. Karen goes pale. That was my father's ring, she whispers. But there's 3. Just then, a man limps out of the fog by the water, dressed in old clothes, metal watch glinting. That's him, Karen gasps. That's my father. He doesn't speak, just points at the box, then vanishes in the mist. Next day, a body surfaces near the reeds. It's him, same jacket, same watch. Collins shakes his head. He's been dead a while, but not as long as you'd expect. Karen sobs. He wasn't a good man. He and the old HOA hid things, stole money, seized land. My mother used to say the lake hid their sins. That afternoon, divers pull 4 rusted barrels from the lake. Inside are bones, human remains. Karen drops to her knees, devastated. He did this, he buried them. Her father, the original president, was a killer. And all these years, the lake kept his secrets. That night, Tom shows up, shaken. Karen's saying the lake wants her next, that her father's calling to her to finish what he started. Hours later, I spot Karen sleepwalking to the water's edge. White nightgown trailing, eyes glassy. I catch her just as another barrel surfaces, spinning in the moonlight. The last one, the fifth. It thuds against the rocks, then sinks again. Next morning, divers haul it up. The barrel is scarred, bent, like something tried to claw its way out. Inside, there's nothing but old photos. Her father, other men, 5 barrels in the background. One photo shows Tom shaking hands with Henry Reynolds. Time-stamped just 5 years ago. Karen is horrified. My husband wasn't even alive then. But he lied. That night, the lake comes. Alive, 5 red lights floating across the water. Karen rushes into the shallows, screaming for Tom. He appears, soaked, haunted. I helped your father hide the evidence. The last barrel wasn't supposed to surface. The water churns, a red light dives beneath him, and Tom is pulled under. The lake claims him, gone in seconds. After that, nothing. Divers search, find nothing. The lake is silent. Karen tells me. He always said the lake only keeps what it wants. Maybe now it's full. That night, I sit by the fire pit, Bruno close, watching the black water. One red light hovers just beneath the surface, flickers, then vanishes. And in the hush that follows, I swear I hear a man's voice, soft, almost kind. The lake remembers. So what do you think, can a place really hold on to secrets like that? Or do we just see what we're scared to face? Drop a comment, tell me where you're watching from, and if you think justice ever really rests. Because out here, the lake is quiet, but only for a while.